When you have a new baby, the advice starts pouring in from every direction. It comes from our mothers, our grandmothers, our friends, and it's always given with so much love. But here's a truth that can be hard to hear. We now know, with the backing of decades of science, that some of these long-held parenting beliefs are not just unhelpful, they can be actively harmful. This old advice can lead to very real, very frustrating problems. We're talking shorter naps, brutal bedtime battles, misinterpreting what our baby actually needs, and in some cases, even masking issues that could delay their development. Hi, I'm Sarah, and I want to be clear. I'm not a doctor or a sleep guru. I'm a mom on a mission to read all the parenting books, the scientific studies, and to sift through all the conflicting advice so you don't have to. And today, we are going to replace some of the most common and most damaging parenting myths with scientific truth. Let's start with an absolute classic. I'm sure you've heard it. You have to get your baby used to napping in loud, bright places. If you don't, they'll never be able to sleep anywhere else. On the surface, it seems to make sense, doesn't it? It's rooted in a fear we all have, the fear of being trapped. The fear of creating a baby who can only sleep in a perfectly silent, pitch-black sensory deprivation chamber. The logic is, if you expose them to the chaos of life, they'll learn to sleep through it. You're training them for flexibility. But what if I told you that decades of research into infant sleep science proves this idea is completely, fundamentally backward? To understand why, you don't need to read a dense medical textbook. You just need to understand one simple, powerful concept: sleep pressure. I want you to imagine a little fuel tank inside your baby's brain. Let's call it the sleepiness fuel tank. From the moment your baby wakes up, that tank starts filling up, drop by drop. Every minute they're awake, feeding, cooing, staring at a ceiling fan, feeling your touch, that's another drop in the tank. The longer they're awake, the fuller that tank gets. You can almost see the gauge climbing higher and higher throughout their wake window. When that sleepiness fuel tank is full, your baby will sleep. It's not a matter of negotiation, it's biology. They will sleep in their quiet crib. They will sleep at a noisy family barbecue. They will sleep in their car seat next to a construction site. The pressure is so immense, they simply have to release it by sleeping. This is why a baby who is truly tired can and will fall asleep just about anywhere. They don't need to be trained to do this. Their body already has this powerful, built-in tool. So if they can sleep anywhere when they're tired enough, why are we all so obsessed with a dark, quiet room for naps? Why do I and so many other evidence-based experts insist on it? The answer has to do with the quality and length of that sleep, and there are two key reasons. First, the structure of your baby's sleep. A baby's daytime nap, especially in the early months, is made up almost entirely of REM sleep. This is also known as active sleep. It's an incredibly light, fragile state of sleep. If you've ever seen your baby twitching, smiling, or fluttering their eyelids while they're napping, that's REM sleep. Because it's so light, it is incredibly easy to disrupt. A dog barking outside, you accidentally dropping a spoon in the kitchen, a sliver of bright light hitting their face. Any of these things can be enough to jolt them out of that delicate sleep state. Second, and this one is huge, your baby is a learning machine. Starting around 6 weeks old, their curiosity about the world explodes. A bright, busy living room isn't just a place with background noise, it's a symphony of stimulation. It's colors, it's movement, it's the TV flickering, it's a sibling playing with a toy. For a tiny brain that is trying to absorb everything, a stimulating room is like a Las Vegas casino. It makes it nearly impossible for them to power down and surrender to sleep, even when they're tired. Okay, I know what you're probably thinking right now. It's the big fear, the one that holds so many of us back. Okay, Sarah, I get it. A dark, quiet room helps my baby take a better nap. But does this mean I'm creating a bad sleeper? Am I making a baby who can only sleep in a pitch-black cave? Am I accidentally trapping myself, a prisoner in my own home, unable to ever leave the house during nap time? This is the most important part of this whole video. I need you to hear this loud and clear. This is not an either-or situation. You are not choosing between good naps and a flexible baby. Here is the crucial, liberating truth. You get the best of both worlds. Here's how it works. At home, for the majority of their naps, you prioritize the optimal sleep environment, the cool, dark, quiet room. This is your sleep sanctuary. This is how you help your baby get the deep, restorative sleep their brain and body are craving. This is how you get longer naps. Think about this. A baby's natural sleep cycle is somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes long. This is why the catnap is so common. You put your baby down, you tiptoe out of the room, you finally sit down, and almost to the minute, 35 minutes later, they're awake and crying. That's not a coincidence. That is the end of one sleep cycle. In that moment, they briefly come into a very light stage of sleep. Now, if they're in a bright, noisy room, their curious brain wakes up fully. Oh, what's that? Light, a toy, mom's face, and the nap is over. But if they are in a dark, boring room, when they hit that brief moment of waking between cycles, there's nothing interesting to latch onto. There's no stimulation. It's just boring. And so it is infinitely easier for them to drift back to sleep and connect into their next sleep cycle. That is how a 35-minute nap magically becomes an hour and a half. By controlling the environment, you are giving them the gift of connected sleep cycles. So that's what you do at home. But what about when you're out? When you're on the go, you trust biology. You trust sleep pressure. That sleepiness fuel tank we talked about will still build up. When your baby has been awake long enough and that tank is full, they will fall asleep in their stroller, or in the car seat, or in the baby carrier at a busy park. The nap might be shorter, yes. It might be a 35-minute stroller nap instead of a 90-minute crib nap. And that is perfectly okay, because you are not spoiling them. You are optimizing their sleep when you are at home, and you are relying on their natural biology when you are out in the world. I want you to picture a split screen in your mind. On the left side, a baby sleeping soundly in a dark, peaceful nursery, their little chest rising and falling as they seamlessly connect sleep cycles for a long, restorative nap. On the right side, we see that exact same baby a few days later dozing off peacefully in their stroller while their mom is out having a much-needed coffee with a friend. This isn't a contradiction. This is the goal. Quality naps at home and flexibility on the go. You can have both. What's the most surprising piece of old-school parenting advice you've ever received? Share it in the comments below. Let's debunk some more myths together. Now that we've tackled that huge sleep myth, let's rapid-fire bust another one that causes so much unnecessary anxiety. Picture this. It's the middle of the night. The house is quiet. The room is the perfect temperature. You've got your baby swaddled up in a cozy sleep sack. You are doing everything right. And you reach in to check on them. Your hand gently touches their little feet or their tiny fingers, and they feel like little ice cubes. And your heart just plummets into your stomach. The immediate thought is, they're freezing. I'm a bad mother. I need to put more layers on them. We've all been there. But here's why you don't need to panic. Let's start with another sign people point to, a quivering lip. Your mother-in-law might see that and say, "Oh, the poor thing is shivering. He's cold." This is not accurate. In a newborn, a quivering lip is not a shiver. It's a normal, classic sign of their immature nervous system. It's a neurological reflex, like the startle reflex. Their brain is just building its pathways, and things get a little shaky sometimes. It has nothing to do with their temperature. And what about those chilly hands and feet? Again, this is not a reliable indicator of their core body temperature. A baby's circulatory system is brand new. It's still figuring things out, and it's not very efficient yet. It prioritizes sending warm, oxygenated blood to the most important places: the brain, the heart, the vital organs. The hands and feet are last on the priority list, so they will often feel much cooler than the rest of the body, even when the baby is perfectly comfortable. So how can you actually tell? The reliable check is simple and foolproof. Gently slide your fingers onto their chest or on the back of their neck. That's where the blood flow is consistent, their core. It should feel comfortably warm and dry, like your own skin. If it does, your baby is not cold, no matter how chilly their little fingers feel. You can put the panic away. The theme here is becoming clear, isn't it? So much of what we're told about parenting is based on guesswork and misinterpretation, not on understanding the actual science of infant development. We jump to conclusions. We see a baby crying for long periods and we slap a label on it. Oh, it must be colic. But colic isn't a medical diagnosis. It's just a descriptive term for excessive crying in an otherwise healthy baby. And just accepting that label can be risky. That persistent crying could be a symptom of something else that needs attention, a painful reflux issue, a cow's milk protein allergy, or another feeding problem that a doctor or lactation consultant needs to evaluate. We also assume that all crying means distress. We're programmed to respond to a cry. But we have to learn that crying is simply a baby's primary form of communication. Sometimes it's a cry that says, "I'm hungry." Sometimes it says, "I'm overtired and I don't know how to fall asleep." And sometimes it's just a baby's way of powering down for sleep. Many babies let out a few protest cries as they are drifting off. Even more confusingly, babies can cry while still fully asleep during a light REM cycle. If we see this and rush in to pick them up, we can actually wake them up completely, interrupting that precious sleep. Your job as a parent isn't to stop every single cry. Your job is to become a detective, to listen and to learn what each different cry is trying to tell you. To help you decode what your baby is trying to say, it's essential to understand their cues. Look, my mission here is to keep bringing you clarity in the chaos of parenting. If you found this helpful and want to keep getting advice that's backed by science, not just tradition, make sure you like and subscribe. It's the single best way to support the channel. And you know how it is, videos like this that challenge the old way of doing things can sometimes disappear. So be sure to save this one for later.